you're breaking out of prison, you're breaking the rules of Hearthstone, quote unquote. Every single class gets a legendary card that in some way breaks a rule of Hearthstone.
So maybe Priest will get a win condition.
We can hope.
Hello and welcome to episode 549 of Concede, a Hearthstone podcast dedicated to making the competitive side of the game more accessible to you. It is Thursday, June 4th, 2026 in the evening. From North Rend, Massachusetts, it's me, Wicked Good. From Teldrassil, California, we have Megasa.
Hi. Oh my gosh, I didn't even say the right thing.
Do you want to do that again?
It's because the first thing that happens is usually you going, hi.
I know.
Hello. No, we have to keep this part in.
And from all around the world, we have you, dear listeners. This week's episode is brought to you by our producers, Number Theory, Crash Beef Squatch, David P., Jeremy T., Bottle Caps, Grumpy Monk, The Burger Club, Kirk Regan, May, NY Kiwi, Spine, Grizzly Bear, and by our patrons of the week, Torby, Flenderson, and Prakash. You can go to patreon.com/CoinConcede to get perks like thank you at the top of the show, bonus post-show content, early access to new episodes, and help support the show in the process. If you would like to support the show but cannot do so monetarily, please consider leaving us a 5-star review on your podcast feed of choice. It always helps other people find the show. And if you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe and do all the things because that helps the algorithm remember that we exist. So, Edelweiss also does exist, but is not with us again this week. She is coming a little bit under the weather, and with spring playoffs or spring championships, rather, this weekend. Does not want to take a chance with pushing herself too far, and that is completely understandable. We love having her here, but we also want her to be on the championship broadcast more. So it is just the two of us for this week, but we do hope that she gets better quickly and does not risk her voice for said championships. But life and ladder, Megasa, you had some stuff going on, so I will defer to you and let you go first this week.
Yeah, I mean, Hearthstone-wise, still bouncing around. Played a little bit of the end of turn Paladin. Played some Burn Mage, like I mentioned last time. That was working really well until it wasn't, and I was hitting more aggro, and then it wasn't working so well. Played a couple games of Priest because I just keep trying it for some reason. And Token Druid probably did the best with that, unsurprising. I ran into Clark, and it was my most successful Token Druid game of the day. I think I just had the right draw against him. It was not his play at all. But I did just kind of steamroll him. I felt a little bad. Then I went into his Twitch chat afterwards to see whether that it had indeed been him, and it had. So, but shout out to Clark. He's a fun guy, and I could tell from his chat that he had mentioned Concede, so thank you for that. Although someone said, well, she played the coin but didn't concede. So
yeah, we don't do the conceding. It's everybody else who does the conceding. We don't do the conceding.
Yeah, we have to get the brand right. I almost replied to that, but then I didn't want people in chat to accuse me of like stream sniping, which I hadn't been. But if you like go right in and comment, then sometimes people are like, "You were stream sniping." So, not that it would have mattered if I knew what was in his hand, because I had the dream Token Druid curve. Yeah. But in terms of non-Hearthstone, I had the day off today because we had graduation yesterday for all the students. And I was mentioning a little before the show, we get to have a really kind of cute tradition where every student gets a customized, personalized award from one of their teachers. Because we have one student, one teacher, we really get to know the students well, and we have very small classes. And so it's fun to come up with something like unique to the student to really celebrate, like, who is this kid? And then have a little speech. And they always are like a little embarrassed, but also very pleased. And so it's fun. That is definitely the best part of it. It's always a little bit more nerve-wracking when you're doing it, because we also do it for the other students who are not graduating at like a different, just school-wide like assembly type thing. But the graduation one, you've got the parents and all the families and stuff like that. But I talk in a podcast every week, so I was like, this is no problem. But it turns out I have the week off. I am doing summer school, but I'm only working with one. They gave me just one student for 2 hours a day because I only signed up for a couple hours a day because I have other summer commitments. But that student's not starting till the 15th, so I'm not starting until the 15th, except for said other commitments. So nice to have a little bit of a break. I'm doing the thing that I always do when I have a bit of a break, which is I think, what are all the productive things I haven't been doing that I should be doing?
Can you just take a break for once? Just take a break for once. God almighty. Like
I have to just plan to take a break. Yeah, because otherwise I'll be like, well, I should clean up, this office room, which you can start to see the bleed in of all the mess in the corners now.
Just finish playing Baldur's Gate 3 or something. Like, just take a day. Like, what are you doing? You work hard enough as it is.
Oh God, I'll have to reinstall it. It'll take as long to reinstall it.
Oh, okay. Then if you're going to install something, you can install Trails in the Sky first chapter and do that then. Okay. If you have
Surely
to install
I'll have
a
enough
game.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how about you, Wicked?
Well, my wild experiment ended with me getting to like Diamond 10 before the month reset, which was fine. That was at the point where I started hitting meta decks in Wild, and people knew what to do to counter what I was doing, and then it was less fun when you run into people who know that they can dirty rat and devolve you after you finish half the quest, and then you're done. So okay, like I mean, it kind of coincided with the end of the month. It wasn't exactly at the end of the month, but I kind of slowed down on my pace towards the end of the month, and like, okay, I've gotten what I need to get out of this. The problem is now I've ruined my MMR, and by ruined I mean made too good. So now I'm going to start seeing the real decks. Yeah.
When I come back, I'll still be seeing the non-real decks. Yeah. I mean, I was playing some of it, but then I was also like, I didn't even hit Legend in Standard last month quite. I did still get 10x, but I didn't hit Legend. So I'm like, maybe I should like try again a little more. But I am thinking I'll use Wild more as a place to go, because it was very fun having my last week and learning more about many different decks, and she sent me a Shadow Priest I haven't tried yet, so I have to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you have to do that. So, yes, and I've just been playing Marithra Druid in Standard since the month reset. I'm climbing slowly. I'm not in a rush. It's been fine. It's still fine. I may make a change. We'll talk about that later with the new card from the expansion reveal that I might try to work in there, but otherwise it's it's the thing that I know how to play, and I'm not learning a new deck now. I'm too old to learn a new deck this late in the expansion cycle, so I'll just keep playing Druid because it's like a deck that I enjoy and I understand. So fine, I'll just keep playing that until the wheels fall off. But I am, if I'm a little bit more tired than usual, it's because I was out late last night because we went to go see Ben Folds perform with the Boston Pops, which is the Boston Symphony Orchestra, for those of you who are not local. But they're like an institution in Boston, and Ben Folds is an artist who I've been following since I was in high school, which is way too long ago. Maureen and one of the twins came with me, and she's gotten into him. I've gotten her into it. She's listening to music from my era for the most part, and she's been really excited about it. And like, I knew most of what he was going to play because it's like he has pretty much a set number of songs that he can play with a symphony because you have to have them all arranged. So, and he's got a couple of albums that are accompanied by an orchestra, so you kind of know, like, give or take a couple songs what he's going to get. Doesn't matter. It was so good. Like, seeing him like flailing his feet in joy while he was playing some of the songs is just like amazing. And he's just such a good performer. It was everything. I mean, I've seen him live before, but never with an orchestra. This was just really a magical night. And the opening act was like they had 4 high schoolers who had won some sort of like performance award, like 2 like effectively opera singers, somebody who composed his own song on jazz saxophone accompanied by the Boston Pops, and then somebody who was doing classical piano. That was pretty cool too, like seeing them performing at a high level. So, it was a fun evening, and we got to go out into Boston. Spent some time hanging out by like the reflecting pool by the Prudential Center, which is an area that I haven't really spent a lot of time in because that's where I was waiting for Maureen and my daughter to show up in the parking garage so I could throw my work backpack in the car. And that was right where it was. And I'm like, oh, this is an area that I haven't really spent a lot of time in. And it's beautiful, especially like as the sun's starting to set. So it was a really good evening.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah. We have a bunch of news today. So I got to catch up on the news while I was sitting there by the reflecting pool. And because we have, as we kind of hypothesized last week, we do have an announcement for the new expansion, and we got a first batch of reveals, and we have a lot to talk about. So we should do that.
Gadgets and Gazette always gets the scoop.
So I guess one thing before we get into everything, we have a very small tournament session that I think for brevity's sake, we should just kind of throw up here at the front. If you are watching this live or you are listening to this the minute it gets released, Spring Championships are about to start as we're recording this and will be going on as we're releasing this. So do make sure to go watch and make sure that they're getting the viewership that they need to make sure that they keep doing that. So, and go watch Edel and support her while she's casting.
No. Okay. If it already happened, we'll talk next week about what happened, and the VODs are great.
Yes. So we have a announcement of the new expansion, which is Escape from Violet Hold. We are going to talk about the mechanics of the expansion in Dexplanations, along with the cards that have been revealed. What we're going to cover in news is everything around the expansion. We're I'm going to try not to talk myself into knots by talking about things that we're going to talk about in Dexplanations, but that is a storied tradition of ruining the future segments of the show in the earlier segments. But I'm going to try to do my best not to do that. In any event, there is a cinematic trailer you should go watch. There's also a full expansion reveal from the developers.
That expansion reveal video, I have to say, both of the videos were quite good this time, I think. The explanation from the devs, the sort of like expansion reveal that they gave, had sort of more devs who we've never seen from different teams, and some sort of behind the scenes details, and just like felt a little more sort of honest on like what their experience was making it. And it had some of the sort of campy jokes and stuff, but a little bit more focused on just like what was the expansion and what are the mechanics. And so I definitely recommend watching that. I did actually notice, because we were talking with their last video, this was much better than the sort of like patch notes talking through video, but we'd been talking about like how many people are actually like finding that on YouTube versus just like seeing it through the patch notes. If you click into it through the patch notes, you go into an unlisted YouTube that has like 2,000 views, but then the main video had tens of thousands of views.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
There is a discrepancy there. But yeah, we have Vanessa Van Cleef, daughter of notorious Defiance Brotherhood leader Edwin Van Cleef, staging a prison break from the Violet Hold, which is a maximum security prison on the mage city of Dalaran. And so she's gathering everyone to escape, and Maiev, who normally guards like Illidan's prison, is now guarding the Dalaran Violet Hold. So
yeah, and we will talk all about the actual mechanics when we get into explanations. We wouldn't want to break the rules this early in the podcast. But
we will prepare to talk about it later.
We will prepare to break the rules. But anyway, there will be card reveal streams over the next 2 weeks. Raren is hosting all of them, and they're going to be a smaller groups than they were for Cataclysm. So Cataclysm generally had 5 to 6 creators and different people in the hosting roles. It's just going to be Raren with usually 2. I think it is just consistently 2 guests. So June 9th at 2 p.m. Pacific.
Plus a
dev. A dev, yeah.
Yeah, part of the idea, I think, is to get the devs to have a little bit more opportunity to speak, and get a little more in-depth from different people. I think that these videos did do really well last expansion. So, but they did get some feedback, I think, of there just being a lot of creators. So it's not about giving fewer opportunities to creators, but just like there was kind of a lot of people in the video, so people didn't get a lot of time.
Yeah. And they tend to go long when people just want to see the cards when you have that many people, because you need to give everybody an opportunity to speak, an opportunity to chime in. And then when you're having 6 people talking about every card, then that just kind of get people wanting them to just get on with it, I guess. So that's something too that it makes sense to kind of bring the size of those down. So June 9th at 2 p.m. Pacific, which is 5 p.m. Eastern, will be Raren with Firebat and Regis Kilbin and Dev Ben Paulson and they're going to be talking about Demon Hunter, Rogue, and Shaman. On June 11th at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, Raren will be joined by Kibler and Tulso and developer Alex Smith talking about Priest, Warlock, and Warrior. On June 16th at 2 p.m. Pacific, his guest will be Trump SC, not that Trump, and Sun Glitters. And Dev will be Nicholas Weiss, who you may better know as Deck Tech, who is, I believe we said on the show last week that he's now on the final design team. So he is going to be joining them talking about Druid and Mage. And then on June 18th at 2 p.m. Pacific, he'll be joined by Zeddy and good friend of the show, Blister Guy, and Dev Nate Kaplan. So those are going to be both on the Hearthstone Twitch and YouTube. There will be drops on Twitch. So you'll be able to get one pack for 15 minutes watch time. And both on Twitch and YouTube, it says 1x Escape from Violet Hold pack max for YouTube. And I'm not sure why that's different. I don't know if you can only get one from YouTube, but you can get one from each Twitch, or I'm not sure why they specify max.
I think for Twitch, it might be if it goes long enough that you get 30 minutes, you'd get another one. I'm not sure. But at any rate, if it makes no difference to you, then you might as well do Twitch just in case.
Or you might be able to do both.
It is nice that they do have a pack for YouTube now, though.
Yeah. I would expect on YouTube you would have to watch it live. I don't know that you get drops if you're watching like if you're just seeing it in your pop up in your YouTube feed after it's done. I don't know that you get a drop for that. So there's also going to be some reveals on Reddit and the Hearthstone Discord. Those will be on June 8th at 10:30 a.m. Pacific, which is 1:30 p.m. Eastern. Those will be the neutrals on some of the neutrals on Reddit, and then the remaining neutrals will be on the Hearthstone Discord on June 10th at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. And then finally on Tuesday, June 23rd at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, there will be a final card reveal stream with Regis Kilbin and Edward Goodwin, aka Gallon, to go through the rest of the cards. They'll be going through gameplay, and again, drops will be enabled on both Twitch and YouTube. They don't say max on this YouTube, so hopefully that was just a typo, and I'm reading way too much into it because that's what I tend to do. But yeah, so you're gonna want to, if you watch all of these live when they're happening, you will get a pack for each. So if there's free packs, go get your free packs.
Yeah. And so do note, because there is a final card reveal stream, the earlier card reveal streams, even though they're covering specific classes, won't necessarily include every single card from those classes. It sounds like we'll have more ability to theorycraft in terms of having like more of the neutrals earlier, but there is still there might be certain packages that we're not seeing because they're saving it for the final card reveal stream. It was really nice to be able to theorycraft right away on all the classes in sort of pre-Cataclysm. I do think the reasoning here from their perspective is probably a couple things. One, the final card reveal stream with Kibler for Cataclysm did really well. Had a ton of views. And I think also they want people who mostly are only concerned about one class to keep checking in until the very end. But it does make us frustrating for those of us who just want to theorycraft every day. So
yeah. It would be nice if they just kind of did one less creator stream and just saved a couple of classes for the reveal stream. But I mean, then it's also frustrating for people who are fans of those classes. They have to wait a whole 3 weeks and I don't know. I'm glad I don't have to figure this stuff out. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, there were pros and cons to everything. Yeah.
I'm not saying anything is better or worse. I'm just saying I'm glad it's not my job to figure it out. That's all. Theory crafting will be on June 25th for NA, Latin America, and EMEA. And APAC players will play on June 26th. We will let you know if we are invited back. once again, then we will let you know what our plans are once we know. Hopefully, we've got a pretty good win streak and we haven't made anybody too angry. So hopefully that will continue. But we will let you know what the plans are for that when we get there. Usual rules, it's a chance for the creators to play things and try things out when there's no meta and see how the different packages interact. So it's a fun time. Edelweiss will be theory casting again this time. So with Ravenstoddle and Lorinda. So if we are streaming, she will join us later, I suppose, as she normally does and just didn't in the last time around.
I think usually they've done 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific.
Yeah, like noon to 8. Yeah, that's what it is at Eastern. But yeah. Anyway, so do that. Also, there will be drops enabled. You'll be able to get 2 Escape from Violet Hole packs with an hour of watch time for the first pack, and then 150 minutes of total watch time, which is 2.5 hours. I did the math for you. When I'm off the clock, I did math for you, so appreciate that. Yeah, so you can get 2 packs that way. So and if you're not, at least put on a streamer, support them, even if you're not actively, throw them on in the background, whatever. But just have them on. That it also helps support them as well. Community days will be June 30th through July 4th. And if you tune into a Hearthstone stream during community days, you'll be able to earn up to 8 packs from Lost City of Ungoro and Into the Emerald Dream. And okay. So it took me a second because I read through these and then I apparently didn't catch this when I was reading through it the first time. So the thing is that the trial cards from Lost City of Ungoro and Into the Emerald Dream are expiring as of when the new expansion comes out. So you'll be able to get 4 packs of each to start converting some of those into the real cards if you need them. Who knows which ones will actually carry forward, and we'll probably have to talk about what to craft when we get closer. But do keep in mind that your trial cards are expiring, and I haven't heard anything about any further trial cards, so we'll have to see what kind of an impact that has. But just be aware. Pre-release Tavern Brawl is changing. So, pre-release Tavern Brawl will be June 30th through July 7th. You are going to be able to take any cards that you open from Escape the Violet Hold and put them into one deck. No class restrictions, no room restrictions. Only cards from the set. Oh, and they're giving everyone all of the commons for free on a trial basis. So they'll expire at the end of the pre-release brawl. So this will solve the problem of people are just jamming whatever the broken deck is that you can just build with core cards and having to ban cards from a previous expansion after a day. This will solve that. Will this create new problems? Who knows? It's very possible that there could be something broken when you're taking all of the cards with a related mechanic. There's nothing like Herald in this set, so hopefully that won't be the case, but it's certainly going to be not anything you're going to be able to do on day one, for sure, because this is just going to be everything all mashed together and you just do what you can. But it is a good way to give free-to-play players an opportunity to both play with the new cards and experience the pre-release Tavern Brawl without having to buy in. So it is a creative solution. I have no idea how it's going to play out in real life, but we will see when we get there.
Yeah, I imagine there'll be something popular with all or mostly commons, and then there'll be 1 or 2 really popular kind of brokenish things if you got a pre-release and you have access to a lot of stuff. But I do think that there's a middle ground of, and part of the point of doing it this way is that previously you had to kind of open enough packs to get all the cards for a certain class to be able to really play a deck in the pre-release brawl. So if you were only opening a few packs as you went along as someone who didn't get a pre-release, you couldn't really play with any of those cards you opened because you didn't have enough from that class necessarily. So in this, you can now play with whatever you open. Will it synergize with itself? Maybe not.
Yeah.
But because you can play all the classes together, if you got a legendary from this class and a legendary from that class, you can throw them in a deck together if you want.
Yeah. I mean, I have said I wanted these to be a little bit more like a Magic pre-release. This super is like a Magic pre-release. You go open up a bunch of packs, jam it all in a deck, and see what works, right? So that's the same thing. So we'll see how this goes. I am interested to see how this plays out. It should feel different. Whether it feels better or not, we'll see. But I'm cautiously optimistic. There's a rewards guide to cosmetics. We have a lot to cover. We're not gonna enumerate all of that, but you can go read that. It's in the link in the show notes, so you can go ahead and read through that. So that is everything that's going on ahead of the release and the events leading up to it. We do also have patch notes for patch 35.6 rather, which is what launched on Tuesday alongside the expansion announcement. Obviously, Escape from Violet Hold. We'll talk about it. We've already kind of gone through again. You can go into the shop. You can buy the bundles as usual. There's the 50-pack bundle, the 80-pack bundle. If you buy both of them, there's a sequence bundle. Also in June 2nd, which was this past Tuesday, there will be something in the BattleNet shop to buy cards with runestones that include a legendary card from Escape from Violet Holds. I mean, we can just click the link right now and see what that is actually, if it's going to open for us, or not, because clicking on the link doesn't actually bring you to the offers. That's fantastic. Anyway, so you can go hunt through the shop to try to find that if you'd like.
I did find out what that runestone thing is on the shop. I can put the actual link to that in the show notes. You pay $80 USD for 8,000 runestones, which is the usual rate, but then you also get a random legendary card from Escape from Violet Hold.
Okay.
Presumably, once the expansion releases, you will get that.
So if you're going to buy the big bundle, do it that way, because then you get an extra legendary. You will be able to log in and get Vanessa Ringleader for free. Again, we will talk about her at length in explanations. There are new events and legendary quest lines. So right now there is a Prison Break event that is going for the next 2 weeks, and you'll be able to get 2 copies of Tunneling Geomancer, which is a new card from the set or a new card from the event set. A random unowned light hero skin from Year of the Pegasus, 1 pack of the new set, 1 golden cataclysm pack, 1 regular cataclysm pack, and 2 tavern tickets that you will be able to redeem for a pre-release brawl when the time comes. And then from June 16th to July 7th, which is 3 weeks, there will be the Lockdown event, which is going to give you a Dalaran Warden Maiev Rogue Hero skin. Why is she a rogue if she's a warden? She's upholding law and order. She should be a paladin. I want to speak to a manager. Like
something lore, something.
Okay, sure. 2 copies each of Commissary Crook and Deadly Bribe, which are new event cards, both golden and regular versions. 3 packs from the new set, 1 pack from Cataclysm, and 2 more tavern tickets that you can use in pre-release brawl. So, make sure to play and get all your stuff. Also, the event reward cards that you missed. So if you missed Dragon Soul Shattered, then you can get that in the current patch by opening up a Cataclysm pack. If you missed Tunneling Geomancer, which is from the current event, you'll be able to get that when the new expansion releases by opening up a Escape from Violet Hold pack. And if you missed the 2 cards from the next event, you'll be able to get them in patch 36.2, which is the Battlegrounds patch that will be 1 month after the expansion releases. There's also going to be a new legendary quest chain that comes along from June 9th, which is this coming Tuesday through July 7th. You can play standard games to... It's probably just going to be just play a standard game or win a standard game, whatever it happens to be. You'll be able to get 1 golden and regular pack of both Escape from Violet Hold and Cataclysm. So play games, get more packs, get some goldens. You won't be able to miss it. Don't worry. There are updates to Arena. They had alluded to this in the dev update video a couple of weeks ago. They are adjusting how often Herald appears in dual class Arena. So they're reducing the number of Herald cards in legendary buckets that contain Herald legendaries by 1 and replacing with a non-Herald card. And they're lowering the appearance rate of Herald cards to be in line with other class cards in that pool. So hopefully you will see fewer Heralds. and fewer Herald spam decks in Dual Class Arena. I have no idea how that will affect the feel of it, if that's going to be enough, but hopefully it will be. And if you are an Arena enjoyer, you can feel free to report back to us. Anomalies are coming back to Battlegrounds. If you are a Battlegrounds player, you probably know what these are. It's a beginning of game effect. We're not going to go into it. It changes the way that the games feel. There's a bunch of new anomalies. There's 17 returning. There's 5 that are getting updated. There's some minion updates. Again, Battlegrounds is a lot. If you're going to play Battlegrounds, you probably want to read through this. I just want to like say a huge thank you to whoever took the time to implement like the drop down in the patch notes for Battlegrounds, so that I do not need to spend the next 5 minutes of the podcast scrolling past the Battleground section of the patch notes.
I was going to say the same thing.
So thank you to whoever did that. I appreciate the hell out of you. Pet Cthulhu is going to Darkmoon Fair Treasures. He looks very cursed. The comments that I've seen on Reddit have said as much. Sure, if you want to brave the Darkmoon Fair, go for it. But that is a face only a mother could love. I'll say that much. Anyway, that's all we're gonna say about Darkmoon Fair. And there's also going to be free packs on the Battle.net shop. So go make sure to get those. There's going to be a Golden Cataclysm pack this week and then a regular Cataclysm pack each of the next 3 weeks. Finally, there are some bug fixes. Really, it's just the first few that are pretty significant in terms of standard impact. Sands of Time could not rewind to complete the forbidden sequence, so that's something that should be fixed now. I'm sure that was pretty frustrating. Also, fixed a bug where Khadgar behaved incorrectly after using rewind effects for the forbidden sequence. I would love to know what that means, because Khadgar behaves incorrectly whenever I play him every single time. So I don't know what their definition of incorrectly is, but I don't know if he was just like playing rogue cards or something. He was doing crimes, so he's been brought in.
Wouldn't this be the Khadgar that summons extras?
Oh, that Khadgar. I was thinking of the one that with the weapon.
Yeah, because that one's in standard now.
Oh yeah. Oh, so it's that Khadgar. My bad. Like I said, out late at the concert last night. Not thinking straight. Okay, there we go. So yeah, so the Khadgar who summons minions. I'm not sure how. Maybe he was just like summoning weird, random stuff in that case. Oh, he was probably leaving the stuff stuck around when you were summoning something with a rewind.
Or something like that.
Who knows? But it doesn't specify, and we're not going to speculate. But even though we just did. And fix the bug where it shows arm, which is the appendage for the Colossal, could trigger an additional time when summoning Cho'Gall. So it could eat 2 minions. Yeah, that's too good. So let's not do that. So there's a bunch of other things. If there's something that was not working right, go check the patch notes for that. There's also some UI bugs that they fixed, and a pretty important bug that was causing the game to get stuck on the loading screen on iOS devices. So if you were running into that, try it again, see if this fixed it. So that is the patch notes. So we have talked about everything that is happening except for what the actual expansion is going to be. So we should go do that.
All right. So we had talked a little bit about this, but the expansion is Escape from Violet Hold, and Violet Hold is a maximum security prison. It's supposed to be impossible to escape, etc. But of course, Vanessa Van Cleef, daughter of Edwin Van Cleef of the Defias Brotherhood, basically, she's a rogue, right? And she is going to lead all of the other prisoners to escape. So there's a few major things going on here. We'll just talk about first just like what all the mechanics are, and then we'll go into like individual cards, maybe starting with the Prepare, because that's the newest. That's the one that's available right now.
Yeah, I guess it's worth saying like there's a lot of mechanics going on, but there's only one new keyword. So
Right.
there's a lot of things that are happening, and they're kind of named similarly, so you'll know that they're happening. But there's only one new keyword that you're gonna find, and the rest of them are going to be written on the card.
Yes. And actually, now that I just said that, I changed my mind. We'll do it in the same order as the patch notes, because I realized that prepare is actually the most complicated thing, so we should leave it to the end. So one thing that they really highlighted here, if you have a prison break, you're breaking out of prison, you're breaking the rules of Hearthstone, quote unquote. So the devs thought of a lot of just sort of general things about Hearthstone, and then every single class gets a legendary card that in some way breaks a rule of Hearthstone.
So maybe Priest will get a win condition.
We can hope. So, for example, Hogger is breaking out of his chains. So Hogger is an 8-mana 10/10 warrior legendary with taunt, and it says start of game, duplicate all other legendary cards in your deck. So the rule, of course, that he's breaking here is that you can normally only have one copy of a legendary card. Now you have 2 copies of all of your legendary cards, and that is not when you play him. That is start of game.
Well, he's breaking 2 rules, right? Because also that your deck has 30 cards in it.
Correct. So now, actually, the new deck limit, which they clarify, there's I linked in the show notes. There's a couple of Reddit, sort of official Reddit threads with a lot of clarifications. And so the new max deck size is actually 99. In case like you're in Wild, it used to be 60. If you have an XL deck of all legendaries, you can now duplicate all of that. Plus, whatever other shenanigans Wild lets you put in your deck. So all of the things.
Hey,
if you really want to.
We're that much closer to having Commander and Magic now. So there we go.
There we go. So they, of course, have a GIF here of Logosh, the fabled warrior card. Does seem to be a lot better when you have twice as many of those like blood warriors, because those are the one, if you have something in your hand, then you summon another one from your hand. If you have twice as many, you're much more likely to have them in your hand. So of course they show like the dream scenario in the GIF that they have on the patch notes, but that does seem like one potentially good use. This one, I mean, you do have to be a little careful, right? Like, you want to really curate your legendary list with this, because you are making your deck bigger when you do this.
Yeah, which also could mess up your curve without you necessarily realizing it. Because if you put a bunch of like high mana legendaries into your deck, that's going to be throwing off your curve in a way that you're not going to see from the deck builder. So you do want to be... Actually, I guess you wouldn't see... I don't know if... I guess you wouldn't see it. We don't get to see how this is going to look in the deck builder screen, but I assume that the deck builder screen would just show you the single copy, and then you would just get the extra copies when the game starts. So you're not necessarily going to see it. Like if you're looking at like the little curve graphic on the deck builder, you're not going to see it that you've inflated different parts of your curve by adding an extra card in there at each one of those mana values. So do be aware of that when you're building a deck.
I'm trying to think of like what legendaries we want to be duplicating in Warrior. I mean, one thing is you can go Herald, right? You can have 2 Ragnaroses, you can have 2 Altraxians. That does... Yeah. Those are expensive. If we ever... Like, Yasandra is definitely better if you have 2 of her.
Yeah, she sure is. Yeah.
This definitely makes it so that any sort of all-in strategy based on a legendary card, having 2 of it, especially if you can get away with few other legendaries, it almost becomes a deck building restriction, but then your reward is you're twice as likely to draw the legendaries that you want.
Does it say minions on it, or does it say cards? Legendary cards. So you could get 2 copies of the quest. Now that's aspirational. But if you're putting a whole bunch of cards into your deck anyway, then maybe that's something that you're interested in doing. I mean, you get 2 Groms. That's a thing that you might want. 2 Gromish Hellscreams. Again, if you're doing like a Sarah type thing, then maybe that's enough to kill somebody. I don't know.
2 Dragon Soul Shattered. You are going to end up with a lot of them next to each other in your hand.
I guess
Whether
you would, yeah.
that's a good thing or not, I don't know, but there are going to be a lot next to each other in your hand.
I mean, would we want 2 eggs of Kelos? Probably not.
Well, maybe, because you have to draw it. You have to draw it, right?
Then you could have 2 Umbras, which is also not nothing.
Oh, yeah. And are there, like, really any other legendaries that deck needs?
Sometimes you run the thing that gives you... Oh, you run the one that gives you copies of your damaged minions and give them Rush.
Oh, yeah, sometimes they run that. And that you'd be fine to have another copy of that, too, probably.
Yeah, you would.
Or you could cut it if you don't want it. But, like, yeah, 2 Umbras and 2 eggs actually does... Yeah. Egg Warrior's going to want to run this, I think.
I think that's probably the answer. You could also get 2 copies of Shaladra Soul if you wanted it, I suppose.
Yeah.
But,
and whatever Warrior's other legendary is, we haven't seen yet, so...
Yeah.
You could potentially get 2 copies of whatever that's going to be. I like that the rule breakers are all class specific. Because can you imagine if this was just like a neutral?
Oh no!
I don't know.
Don't give that to Rogue. No. Well, at least Rogue can't get the benefit from it because it's the start of the game effect. So it really is locked to Warrior, which is a good thing, I think.
So that is one of the rule breakers. They gave us 3 of the rule breakers to really highlight this. The Death Knight rule breaker is Blood Doctor Thelena. She has 1 blood rune, 5 mana, 4/5 undead. With Battle Cry, get a 2nd hero power that costs corpses. So the rule she's breaking is you only have 1 hero power. Now you have 2 hero powers, and one of them, the new hero power that you get is Vampire's Kiss. Give a minion +3 attack. This costs corpses instead of mana. So it costs 3 corpses to give a minion +3 attack. Each turn, you can use your regular hero power once and or Vampire's Kiss once. She's a prison doctor by day, vampire by night, secretly feeding on the patients she treats. So they have using that, for example, to turn a regular hero power ghoul into something with 4 attack. I think this only works in a certain type of deck, and that is restricted a little bit by her having a blood rune, as opposed to like allowing you to just go like triple unholy.
Yeah, you really want to be unholy for this. So it's probably going to be a blood unholy deck that's going to want this, but...
Or maybe rainbow. I feel like Clark had a rainbow deck that I was recommending to Edel, and when she's back, we'll hear about it, potentially, unless she's moved on to something else crazy. She actually does have something crazy that we'll get to when we get to the keyword. But there is... Oh, you know what? Actually, this would work really well with is some of the Death Knight cards that haven't really seen that much play from Cataclysm. There was like some cards that cared about their attack. Like Blackwing Experiment, Death Rattle, get a 2-cost spell that deals this minion's attack damage. Chromatic Broodmother, Rush, whenever this attacks, refresh mana crystals equal to this minion's attack. And that's a Frost Unholy, so you'd have to have a rainbow deck in that situation if you had the new Prison Doctor plus the Chromatic Broodmother that refreshes mana crystals. But if you had enough things for corpses, being able to play the 4 mana 2/5 rush, and then it becomes a 4 mana 5/5 rush that refreshes 5 crystals, so it actually gained you a crystal, and that's if you had no other buff to its attack. I feel like there could be something there.
Yeah, or just like corpse spending, right? Like corpse spending isn't really a thing right now. I don't know what corpse spending payoffs we have right now in Standard. I mean, we do have Falric, right, that draws a card that spells corpses and gives you twice as many corpses. I think if there's anything that cares a lot about how many corpses you've spent, which, I mean, we lost the giant, right? So I don't know that we have anything right now.
Unless there's something yet to be revealed.
Right. But maybe we will get something, right? Because we have a lot of corpse spenders now. If we get any corpse spending matters cards again, then having a hero power that will spend corpses is a good thing.
Yeah. And I am excited to see if there's something that can come out of like Rainbow with this card, and I'm curious if it's going to have sort of like Rainbow support. There is definitely sometimes competition for corpses, so we'll have to see how that works out. I think there's 2 ways that you could use the Prison Doctor. I guess I've been saying Prison Doctor, but her name is actually Blood Doctor. Blood Doctor, Thelena. You could either use it in like a super heavy like corpse generating deck, or if you had a blood deck that was not spending corpses very much. Wicked did point out in the chat that there is Husk and Pterodax in those decks, but maybe there would still be enough that you would use it almost like as removal with like your regular hero power and stuff like that. But at any rate, Demon Hunter has Irida Sinseeker, 4 mana 7/5 legendary for Demon Hunter, Lifesteal, Battlecry, send your deck to the void. At the start of your turns, get 2 cards from the void. So they had some clarifications about what this means on Reddit. It destroys your deck, so you are now taking fatigue damage, but your deck, it exiles your deck in a sense, right? Like we're in Magic, right? It's so your deck is in another place. So if you try to draw regularly, you will take fatigue damage, including at the beginning of your turns. But Irida's effect will give you 2 cards that were exiled from your deck to you every turn at the beginning. That can run out, by the way.
Yeah, it's not just a pool of like it'll choose 2 of them from it. It's like it's going to deplete whatever was left, and it effectively draws you 2 cards a turn at the cost of fatigue damage before you would normally get it.
And you can, if you can shuffle stuff back into your deck, it won't go into the void, it'll go back into your empty deck so that you don't take fatigue damage. So if there's anything that you can put back in, that would be helpful. There are also a few cards that care about having an empty deck. There is that 5 mana dragon that says if your deck is empty, destroy the top 5 cards of your opponent's deck. That hasn't really seen any play. But if you have Irida, suddenly you don't have to wait until the end of the game in order to have an empty deck. And so I could see that being annoying.
Well, there's also just a more practical use for that, which is that right now, No Minion Demon Hunter is completely shut off by Rogue because they shuffle the card in at the beginning of the game. So this gets rid of it, right? And then turns the rest of the deck back on.
To note that she is herself a minion. So if you're doing this with no minion stuff, you have to basically kind of try to find a way to draw her. But then the flip side of that is you can run as many other minions as you want because it's not turning on until you draw her anyway. So you could run like Portal Vanguard to get her and stuff like that.
Yeah. So maybe you could run no minion DH without actually having to play no minions, because as long as you can find her, and I don't know how easy it's going to be to tutor for her other than, you know, the normal ways that we're tutoring for minions in 2026. But you could theoretically do a no minion DH without having to abide by the rules of having no minions in your deck, as long as you're willing to wait until you draw that, which is 1 card out of 30. So, do you feel lucky?
Yeah. Well, if you had a relatively limited minion package with like Portal Vanguards and her and the like, if your deck is empty, destroy 5 cards off the opponent's top, then I think you have a pretty good shot of getting her.
Or Talon.
I don't know if we're doing Talon for this. Because it's Demon Hunter. Demon Hunter wants to go fast.
It is early in the expansion. Let me have bad ideas.
It's never Talon, Wicked. But I am curious to see whether there'll be something like that to do with her. We also, again, there could be more stuff coming that synergizes with that type of thing in that set.
Yeah. I mean, you also could be doing like a Herald Demon Hunter with some of the no minion stuff, because the Herald, I think that gives you lifesteal, right? Like, or at least like the Colossal does. So you could use the lifesteal to heal back up from the fatigue damage that you're taking.
It's not the Colossal that gives it to you, it's one of the Herald cards.
Oh, one of the Herald minions. Yeah, I mean, we've seen that so rarely that I forget which one does what, but yeah.
But yeah, that does mean you could put no minion and Herald into the same deck.
Yeah.
And maybe you're not running the other no minion payoffs, you're just running Eternal Hold, so that, but then Eternal Hold gets turned on by Irida. Yeah. I don't know. I
mean, or that, or also the spell that gives +4 to your face and +4 to a minion if you have no minions in
Yeah,
your
because
deck.
you would actually have minions. Oh, that card gets better in a way because you'll have more. You'll be getting 2 minions from the void every turn.
Right.
So you're buffing more. You don't have to generate all of your minions, but it's still turned on. That's interesting.
Yeah.
At any
See,
rate,
not all my ideas are bad.
Talon would be when Hat didn't want to say that sounds bad, he would say that sounds ambitious.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if we're going to break the rules, we can't do so rashly. We have to prepare properly for our escape. And prepare is the new keyword in this expansion. So what prepare does, I guess we will use the card that is available now as our example. So Vanessa the Ringleader is available just for logging in right now. She is a 6-mana 4/4 neutral legendary that says prepare. And then once she's on the board, after you play a card, get a random battlecry minion that costs 2 less. So this, if she didn't say prepared, this would seem like, okay, that's pretty expensive to get this miracle turn going with battlecry minions, right? She costs 6. Well, she doesn't really cost 6, because the way that prepare works is you can, as long as you have at least 1 mana crystal, you can't do this on 0 mana, you can drag a prepare card over to your deck as if you're going to like forge it or trade it. It will spend all of your remaining mana to discount the card that you're preparing by that much plus 1. So if you, for example, prepare Vanessa with 4 mana left, it'll discount her by 5. Now, you cannot play her that turn. There's actually like a UI where it like locks the card. So when you prepare, you cannot play the card that turn, even if you prepared it down to 0 mana. You could, if you refreshed mana somehow, prepare a different card, but you'd have to refresh mana somehow, because you also, again, cannot prepare for just a -1 discount on 0 mana. That's not how it works. You have to spend at least 1 mana to prepare.
But what if we break the rules? Why are there rules for prepare? I thought we're breaking the rules. What? Come on. False advertising.
Yeah. It's hard to argue with that. And note that you don't have to prepare at the beginning. Like, you don't have to spend your entire turn preparing if you don't want to. So you can spend whatever mana you're going to spend on that turn and then use any like floated mana to prepare. Also important, you can hold on to the prepared card as long as you want. You do not have to play it the immediate next turn. It will keep its discount as long as it's in your hand. It will not keep its discount if you like bounce it back from the board or you like shuffle it into your deck and then redraw it, like because it's an enchantment, it doesn't keep that mana discount any more than any other card would keep a mana discount. While it's in your hand, it'll maintain that discount until you play it.
Yeah. It's a little different than Forge, because Forge actually transformed the card. This is not transforming the card, it is enchanting the card, which does lose the enchantment when it travels between zones. Also important, you can only prepare a card once. So you can't like pay it down over multiple turns. You can't like prepare it for 3 this turn and then another 3 the following turn. You get 1 time to prepare it, and then that's going to discount it. And then after that, nothing happens when you drag it over your deck.
Yeah.
And it will show you what the new cost is as you drag it over the deck before you commit to it. So you'll be able to see, it'll have like a little lock over it. You'll be able to see the new cost, and then it's not going to commit it until you let go of it over the deck.
Okay, so now I'm looking at questions about prepare that they had on they had a whole Reddit thread just for prepare. They say, what is the prepare action? It's like forging or trading. It's not playing a card, so it won't trigger things like secrets. Can you copy a prepared card before it is played? Yes, and it will keep the discount, and the copy cannot be prepared again. The copy is exactly like the original thing. What if I steal a prepared card from my opponent? It will keep the discount and not be able to be prepared again, but you will be able to play it immediately since prepare cards are only unplayable on the turn they're prepared. Can the opponent see what card I prepared? No, they will see how much mana you spend preparing, and they can use that information to deduce what card it is. Now, note right now, we only have 1 prepare card. Well, actually, there's about to be 2 from the event.
The event, yeah.
Yeah. Probably right now your opponent can deduce, but it's a little bit like when you trade a card. They can't see what you traded, but they might.
There's probably not that many things that you're trading, right? So
Right.
they don't necessarily. It was just like Forge too. Like there weren't that many cards you were forging. They had an idea what you were forging, so
No.
it's it's not that much of a secret. But yeah, they can look at the cost. Like if there's multiple prepare cards that are viable, they can look at the cost and have an idea. Like if you're only preparing a little bit, maybe you can fool them, but you are giving away some information when you do it.
Yeah, but not more than you are from back when we had Forge.
Yeah.
Okay, can I prepare a card that already costs 0 mana beforehand? No. You must be able to spend at least 1 mana on the prepare action to prepare the card. What if my prepare card already costs 1 mana before preparing? What happens to the bonus? You cannot reduce it below 0, basically, is what they're saying here.
Then play a non-rogue class that actually has to pay for their cards. That's the answer.
Yes. Can I prepare multiple cards on the same turn? Yes, if you refresh mana. Are you going to add prepare to preparation?
Oh my god.
Their answer is just no, period.
I was not prepared for that question. I'll tell you that much.
Can you play a prepare card without preparing it first? Yes, but if you do, Illidan will pop up next to you and point at the card you just play and yell, "You are not prepared!" So, they are generally more expensive than you're going to want to pay on the turn that you're playing.
You're going to want to discount it. You're not going to want to pay retail price for these. Just like you generally didn't want to play like an unforged forge card. Like, you probably shouldn't.
And they do know each class will have at least 1 prepare card, and there will be neutral prepare cards, but some classes will have 2. Speaking of Vanessa Van Cleef here, who is available now. So I saw, thanks to community member Goku, a deck list that was kind of like a battle cry minion miracle deck. It's from Janos HS, or maybe Janos, I'm not sure. And it has a lot of really cheap minions and a ton of draw. It's like Cultist Map, Prized Vendor, King Slayers, and you're only running 2 legendaries, Garona and Vanessa the Ringleader, and Shadow of Demise, I guess, so 3. But you'll probably draw at least 1 naturally. Crystal Tusk. Then you have like Dreambound Raptor. So the idea is you draw yourself Vanessa as soon as possible. You prepare her, and then you play her for very little. And then you have, like, you play like a Dreambound Raptor to give everything else that you play that turn a keyword. And you just play a bunch of stuff. It also has Everburning Phoenix. It worked out well for the person who posted it. They said they went 14-4. It did not work out so well for me. The first time that I played it, I got like a huge Battlecry board with it, right? And just killed them with a ton of value and like large minions and stuff like that. But later games, if they dealt with that big board, then I was a little bit sad. It does run Web of Deception to bounce your Vanessa, and maybe I wasn't waiting for that long enough. But it wasn't nearly as consistent for me. I mentioned this to Edel, and now we can go to her list. She has a burn list that's running a little bit less to draw Vanessa, but a lot more sort of just damage. It's the kind of Morchi Chrono Daggers deck that she's been playing with. That also just happens to have a lot of really cheap cards. So, and this is, by the way, me trying to explain this deck having not played it and just looked at the list from Edel. But you have a lot of cheap stuff that you're playing in kind of a miracle turn to do burn anyway, so you might as well also get some value from Vanessa. This deck is also running the new prepare card that you will get from the event. When you complete the first milestone of the event, you will get Tunneling Geomancer, which is a 3-mana 2/3 neutral epic that says prepare and spell damage +1. So you can, if you spend 2 mana preparing him, he'll go down to 0. You will have a 0-mana 2/3 spell damage minion to play on your pop-off turn. I can see how that would work with a burn deck. I imagine people will... I don't know if anyone's playing it in Burn Mage yet.
I would be shocked if they're not by, the end of the weekend. I would expect
Yeah.
that they are. Maybe we even see some. I wonder if we see some in championships. I don't know if they're going to have had. I guess it depends on when they would have locked deck lists. And
true, I don't know when that
how
was.
much time they'd had to try that, right? But I would not be surprised if we see some of these in championships this weekend.
There's also, they showed some other prepare cards as well. So they showed Defias Smuggler, which is a 3-mana 2/3 with prepare, and Battlecry, give a friendly minion +2 attack and rush. So again, all of these are kind of like, if you can drop a little tempo early, then you can have a big pop-off turn. I've definitely seen some skepticism on like how often is that going to be good if we're like dropping tempo early to have a big pop-off turn. But if they can make, we have right now a lot of the sort of like aggro tempo curvestone stuff. So if we have a set that allows us to actually have a little bit more of the like wait and then be swingy, and it doesn't necessarily have to be wait very long, right? Like essentially you're forging the 3-mana ones to make them 0.
Yeah.
Or you can pay 1 mana to make them cost 1, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, turn 2 you prepare this, turn 3 you play a 3-drop and play this, and then you trade off what are your opponent's minions.
So it's not that huge a tempo loss, right? And having a little bit of that swinginess with adding some rush back in, I think could be something that would help address some of the concerns that people have regarding this expansion, or the past expansion, I guess I should say. We also have Black Market Auctioneer, 9 mana, 4/4, neutral epic, prepare. Whenever you cast a spell, draw a card.
So this is going to be a tempo loss.
This is definitely going to be.
You're going to have to take a turn, a significant turn, to literally do nothing in order to set this up. Because if you're paying 9 mana for this, you're not. So Gadget Sand Auctioneer was what? I mean, it was a whole bunch of different mana costs over the course of the time before, but I think it was like 6 most of the time that it was in standard. And that took some significant setup. You are not paying 9 mana for this. You have to prepare this. And I don't know how much you need to prepare it, but you're probably at least taking half of a turn off. You're either taking a whole turn off or you're taking a very weak turn by doing something that's cheap and then spending the rest of your mana on this to set it up, which says to me this might be win more. Maybe I'm wrong, but it is a very, very powerful, spooky effect, but it comes with a much bigger downside than it had in the past.
I swear to God, if this makes Quasar playable again, I'm going to be so mad.
Oh, no.
Actually, Quasar's out of standard, right? It can't hurt us anymore.
That was Great Dark Beyond. That's gone. It can't hurt you anymore.
Okay. Quasar Rogue is a thing in Wild, sort of. So
yes.
Buckle up,
I was
Wild
very dismayed
players.
to find that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll have to see what the rest... Like, if there's a miracle payoff, then this might be worth it. Right? Like, or if we can reliably discount the spells enough that we can really kind of like have a fast OTK playing a million cards. If it's viable, it will be popular for sure, because people love that kind of APM turn pop off, especially in Rogue, especially with spells. So yeah. Lastly, we have Commissary Crook, who will be in an event upcoming. She is a Druid Epic Undead, 3 mana 4/3 with Prepare, Battlecry, spend all your mana, summon a random minion of that cost. So she's better if you prepare her in the sense that she will summon a higher cost minion.
Yeah.
When you play her.
You're still spending a card for this. Druid has a lot of big minions that you can just put in your deck. So yeah. I don't know that you really want a random minion of indeterminate cost by the time that you're going to play it and have enough mana, because you want at least 8. Like, we had this whole conversation with Hunter repeatedly and Mage over the course of the class sets. 7 drops suck. 6 drops are probably not good enough. like you probably, I mean, again, you're still paying for the minion. You're still spending the mana on it. This is just enabling you to spend that mana. So you are paying, this is enabling you to pay X mana to summon a random minion of that cost. That's all that this is doing.
If this sees play, I think, and again, this is always the difference between us, right? You think of like, how would we get value out of this card? How much value do we need?
It's 2 bodies in one, right? Is what you're going to say as an aggro
It's 2
deck?
bodies in one that can, if you've run out of gas, be a Hail Mary 8-drop. But if you do it early, then it's 2 bodies in the same turn.
Are you doing it early? Because, I mean, are you okay? There's no 0 drops in Standard. So you're playing this on 4 to get a 4/3 and a 1-drop? You're not taking a turn off to prepare this in an aggro deck early.
You spend 1 mana to prepare it. So then it costs
you're
1.
spending 1 mana on playing a 1-drop.
Not on turn 1. Like,
no, I know, but even then.
Sometimes you, even as an aggro deck, you have an odd mana. Like you played a Fellwood Treant and now you have a mana. Or you, like, turn 1, you play a 1-drop, turn 2, you play a 1-drop and you prep this. Or you play a 2-drop and then turn 3, you play a 2-drop and you prep this. You play her for 1 mana. So essentially you've paid 2 mana for a 4/3 plus something else with the rest of your mana. Is that good enough? I don't know, but that's how I think you're playing it, if it's good enough. And then it would have the benefit of, if it goes late, then she can get you more value at a point where you've probably already lost otherwise. But, or maybe there'll be some like undead synergy going on. I don't know. In the set we don't have right now.
I just don't know if in an aggro deck, I don't know why you're playing that instead of Maze Guide. Because that's basically what you're saying, is you're playing Maze Guide, right? You're getting like, it's like,
well, she's bigger than Maze Guide.
Yeah, but the thing that she's going to summon is going to be probably about the size of Maze Guide.
How is Maze Guide? What, a 2-drop?
Oh, a 2 mana 1/1.
But I mean, what does Maze Guide summon? A 2-drop?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm less convinced on this one. I think prepare is a powerful mechanic. I think you have to think about. I mean, again, if you're doing it in an aggro deck, maybe there's some applications there. If you are thinking, oh, I'm going to put this into my Marithra Druid, no, you're not. Just put the big minion in that you want to play. Don't play games with this, because there is no way that a random 10-drop sometimes is going to be better than just throwing Firack in your deck.
Speaking of Marithra Druid, though, right before we started recording, I saw a tweet from Jombre where he had just slotted in Vanessa the Ringleader to Marithra Druid. So,
yeah,
seems like that just works.
This makes sense. Like you have enough, you have enough turns where you're playing 2 or 3 minions a turn, even not on the Marithra turn, right? Like on the Marithra turn, you can just go off. You can just refill your hand when you start jamming Marithra, and like having something that's in your hand that you can just dump out for free on that turn to make more room for Marithra dragons is good. But like, there's even turns where you'll go. Like, you'll go Darkscale Broodmother into Fellwood Treant, right? And then that's going to just put more stuff in your hand to have more value. It just makes a lot of sense.
And you have a lot of like refresh, like you like use a Mirdrasil and then you have like an awkward mana, you might as well just spend it preparing.
Yeah. Like you have that 1 mana or 2 mana left over, or sometimes you just even have just like a dead turn where you have like a bunch of like big expensive garbage in your hand, and you just like turn 5 or I shouldn't say turn 5 mana or 6 mana turn, like you just don't have anything good to do, or like there are turns sometimes where you're just hero power to get the mana spent to be able to turn on a Fellwood Treant. So this is accomplishing something a little bit more productive than just hero powering on those turns. Even if you're just discounting it for the 2, like that's fine.
Yeah.
Or 3, I guess in 3 in that case.
Yeah. That was part of what I was saying with the commissary crook, is that you can, if you did prepare her for 1, you make her essentially a 2 mana 4/3 Maze Guide. Is that good enough? Again, I don't know. But in Marithra Druid with the Vanessa, it makes sense. You want value. You have extra turns with random mana. these things go together.
And you want to spend the mana. It's like sometimes you just don't have things to spend the mana on, and that sets you back from Orithra. So being able to have a turn where you will be able to spend a large volume of mana to get Marithra online faster, or get a Brood Watcher online faster, it does a lot of things that the deck wants to do. So it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So that's something that you can go do now, listener. So those are the prepare cards that we've... Oh, nope. There is an important extra prepare card here. Case the Hold. It says, the Violet Hold is a sprawling prison full of surprises. Scope out the forbidden artifact lockup, the medical ward, and heavily enchanted containment units. Holding some very dangerous magical entities, and in the Demon Vault, Morag has been waiting for a chance to break loose. Apparently this is like a World of Warcraft raid boss of some sort. You can tell I don't play World of Warcraft. So Morag is a legendary warlock minion, 10 mana, 6/5 demon with Prepare and Death Rattle. Summon a random demon from your deck, give it Death Rattle, summon Morag. Morag's whole thing is that it opens cells and unleashes other demons. You probably want to prepare him for at least a little bit of mana. You're probably not like completely discounting Morag because you don't need to pop off on this. It is kind of slow, but if you do have some big demons in your deck, you can just kind of get a chain going with them, and you don't need to replay Morag for that chain to continue. They do need to be in your deck, so you'd almost want to be running like the thing that can shuffle things back into your deck.
Yeah.
If you're drawing patches. We gotta survive until then, so Warlock better get some good survivability in this set, but...
Yeah. But now we know why Doomguard is in core. Right? Because getting Doomguard out of the deck without having to discard the cards is pretty good.
And some of the... Yeah, that's a good point. You don't have the downside, and you can also get some things, like, he doesn't immediately affect the board, but some of the things he pulls does, like Asphyxiodon.
We have Voidlord in Standard too, don't we? This is just Q Block. They're going for Q Block 2.0, is what it sounds like.
And you could do it in the same deck as the Animancer.
Yep.
With Death Rattle summon. So you have multiple ways to cheat stuff out.
Yeah, because you need to be able to find him, right? I mean, you have things that you can do. I guess what's not going to work is the card that finds a card and makes it temporary. Because if you prepare it and it's temporary, it's going to go away. And you're not going to be able to play it that turn. So... don't try to tutor it out with that, because that's going to end in tears. But yeah, there's probably a way to make this happen, because like the thing that I would be concerned about with and as much as we joke, you might have to run Talon in this deck. Because you really do need to get him. You really do need to get him out and get him into your hand, because like he's a legendary that's going to be difficult to tutor for, that is going to make the whole rest of the deck run. So you might need to use Talon to get out the most expensive minion in your deck, which it certainly will be. It costs 10. You probably aren't running any demons that are costing more than him. Because like if you don't find him quickly, or at least like not quickly, but if you don't find him on time, it's going to be a rough go.
Yeah, I mean that's part of why you definitely need to also be running the Animancers. But it is something where the draw order matters for sure. Especially because he's pulling from your deck, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, so these are a lot of the bad guys preparing to get out. What about the Wardens? Warden Maev is a new neutral legendary, 2 mana, 1/4. After you play a minion, give it +3/+3 and make it dormant for 1 turn. So there's 2 possible things that you could do with this, right? One of them is you play her and then like the like cheap 1/1 rush elementals from Shaman or something, and then they come out the next turn 4/4s. Right? Like we actually saw in Paladin that like buff your board at the end of your next turn was better than we thought, because it guarantees that you have a board to buff. Yeah. So you could potentially do this in an aggro deck to guarantee that when you have a board buff, you will have a board to buff with it.
And there's also that spell in, like, is it like Druid or Hunter that summons the 3 Raptors at the beginning of your next turn? right? That's also pretty good. I mean, even like the sigil from Demon Hunter, like having a guaranteed minion on board to be able to then spend the rest of your mana to buff the following turn is pretty good.
And she's already buffed them herself
Right.
too. So
Yeah.
then they get even more. So I think that's actually being underrated a bit and potential for just tempo plays. But there's also possibility for essentially using her as a kind of prepare where you're like, you play something that has a while it's on the board effect that you want to live to the next turn, and dormant minions are uninteractable. So you play her and then you play like some spell damage. This might be ambitious, as Hat would say, but the black market auctioneer, right? You're probably not discounting him all the way to 0. But you could discount him some, then play him with the warden, and then you really pop off. Now, I say ambitious because that means that you're spending a bunch of stuff not doing stuff 2 turns in a row.
Yeah, he would say ambitious. I might say magical Christmas land, but yeah, it's
yeah. But if you have something maybe that's a little bit less expensive that you want to make sure lives, that's another possible usage of Maiev. I don't know exactly what that would be, but
I'm sure somebody will figure it out. We don't have to break it now. You've got a month to figure it out. Get cooking.
And we got a lot more cards to reveal over the next month. So that is the major keyword, prepare. And then we're going to have a lot of like flashy legendaries that break the rules in some way. But we also have a couple like cycles of cards. This is the thing that they do. So one is the disguised cards. These are cards that can be played on either your side of the board, like a normal minion, or you can play them on your opponent's side of the board. And they all have some effect that will like interact with that. So the example that they give is a warrior card, Disguised Watchman, 2 mana, 2/4. It says, can be played on either side. Battlecry, deal 1 damage to all other friendly minions twice. So she can either be like an enraged thing or a clear if you play her on the opponent's side of the board. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting to be able to you're not locked into one or the other. You actually can choose to do both, and there are different reasons that you would want to play it on either side of the board, which is very cool.
Yeah, and you can totally imagine decks where it would really just depend on the exact game that you're in, because both of them would be valuable to you in different situations. And I hope this means we're getting more enraged synergy. We already have some, but I would love to see more. We still have Era of Hereafter in Standard, right?
I mean,
that's a 5 mana dragon.
They're probably on the side of a milk can, a milk bottle. So,
It's a 5 mana 2/6 dragon taunt. This is not a new card. This is from Across the Timeways. But it gains +2/+2 for each damaged minion. We have some enraged synergy, but we don't have an enraged deck quite at this moment. But
and there's the aforementioned legendary that makes copies of all your damaged creatures and gives them rush.
Right.
Plus, like, Egg Warrior is still a thing.
Egg Warrior is still a thing. Yep, that is true. And we were just talking about how Egg Warrior might be happy with Hogger. So we haven't seen the other disguised ones yet, I don't think. But I really like the idea of that. I think that's very cool. They also have a cycle of bribe cards. These give you a powerful effect while also giving your opponent something. So for example, Deadly Bribe is a 3 mana rogue spell. Destroy a minion and give your opponent a coin. Combo, you get 1/2. So it's a discount assassinate. And usually you also get a coin. So it really costs 2. But your opponent also gets a coin, which could be dangerous. Especially early in the game.
Yeah, but I mean, Rogue doesn't care. I mean, also, if their hand is full enough, then you're burning a card. Right? So we've seen that happen a fair amount too. And like, a coin is not, it's good. It's not going to stop you from blowing up a minion, especially if it's an important one. So for 3
Yeah.
mana, and that's a pretty good rate for just like unconditional removal. That's fine.
Yeah, that's something that we've not been seeing a lot of in Standard right now. Is like, oh yeah, nice Nosdormu you got there.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's like Hex, right? I mean, Hex is it's not destroying it, it's transforming it. But I mean, you'd play Hex in Rogue. I mean, you do sometimes, I suppose. But you'd play Hex in Rogue. I mean, that's basically what it is. So
the other bribe card that they showed us was Dark Bribe for Demon Hunter, 2 mana shadow spell, draw 3 cards, and pick 1 to give to your opponent.
I assume it's not a copy. I assume it's actually giving it away.
You actually give the card, yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure that there's garbage that you can give to an opponent they're not going to be able to make use of. I'm sure that there's some of that stuff. Give them a card that says if your deck has no minions in it. Okay. Sure.
And we're trying to cycle through our deck anyway to get the legendary, so there you go.
Yeah.
Those were all the cards that were in the reveal blog. We have also seen a few other cards since then. By the time that, unless you're watching us live or listening to the raw audio as a patron, there probably have been more cards revealed by the time you're listening to this. But we will talk about everything revealed as of end of day, Thursday, June 4th. One of the really cool cards that we have just recently seen is Zuramat's Prison. And this is a neutral legendary location, 5 mana, 3 durability. Choose a card to discard to summon a 5/5 taunt. Death Rattle, free Zuramat, who plays 1 each turn. When the location is used for the last time, it summons an 8/8 Zuramat the Obliterator that says, at the end of your turn, play a card discarded by Zuramat's Prison. I'm curious what the rest of the Warlock set's going to look like, because we've been getting a trickle of discard synergy.
Yeah.
It seems crazy for Wild also.
This is very slow. Like this, I mean, you're making a taunt, right? But like it's
not if you have discard synergy.
Well, yeah. If you have discard synergy, that's different. But if you don't have discard synergy, like this is neutral, but it's probably a Warlock card. Because so you're getting 3 taunts, but you're discarding 3 cards, which you're not going to want to do. And maybe you definitely get 1 of them back, assuming that you don't die. You maybe expect to get 2 out, but Zuramat's going to be public enemy number 1 as soon as he hits the board. And you don't necessarily get to choose which card gets played and what the targets are.
Yeah, I was about to say well, if you were doing this in Priest, then you could have the weapon in it so that you can get it out for free. Because sometimes it's hard to spend 10 mana getting the weapon out, but you really need that weapon out. By the weapon, I mean Atiesh.
If he decides that that's the third thing that he wants to play and your opponent kills it, then, which they are going to, because they're going to see what you discarded, right? And if they see that the weapon is waiting in him and he hasn't played it yet, he is marked for death.
What about End of Turnedin?
Okay. You could get all 3 of those cards out in 1 turn if you have the location and you have the weapon. Then you could get all 3 of them at once over the course of the turn.
And if the question would be, if you pulled an end of turn effect out of Zuramat, does it also get to do its end of turn effect? Because then you could have a nice...
No, it wouldn't. No, it doesn't. Because when you have... Maybe it was Ysera. I don't remember what it was. But once you started the end of turn, all the triggers happen. And then it's not
I think that they changed that, though,
Did
right?
they?
It didn't used to work the way that people wanted, and then now it does.
Does it? Okay. Well, I guess we'll find out. Maybe. If anybody actually plays this. But, I mean, I guess... in Warlock and in Paladin, maybe this is a thing, but you have to have a reason to want to do this. You are not just slamming this in your deck. Because this is a real cost, and you're not guaranteed to get all of those cards back. It reads like you're going to get all those cards back. You probably will not. You'll probably get 1 to 2 of those 3 cards back. And if it's anything I mean, you could always choose when you're going to activate it if you don't have anything that you want to throw away to it. But it also doesn't say only targets enemies, by the way. So, like, if you're like, oh, well, I'll just throw, I don't know, the bribery card that blows up a minion. It could kill one of your minions just as easily. Yeah. So you do have to be careful about that.
So either it's a discard synergy deck, or maybe an end of turn of deck, or maybe like a big shaman type of situation if we get that again.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
I mean,
where you have like multiple interchangeable big things that you'd be happy to get.
Or you just generate a bunch of crap that you don't care about, right? Like, I mean, you kind of get that in Druid enough where, like, you play what is it, Bashana Rune Totem, you're going to get one of those treants is going to be a stinker. It's just guaranteed. And it's going to be like, oh, yeah, here's a deadly poison. Have fun, right? And then you could just play that out. You throw that away. You don't care. Or, like, you just need to get room in your hand anyway. So sometimes just, like, being able to discard is not the worst thing in the world. I'm not saying this is bad. I'm saying you need to have a reason to put this in your deck. You're not just slamming in your deck because it's neutral.
Which is good for a neutral legendary.
Yeah.
And having the 5/5, like the first turn, I think we need to remember with locations, right? Like you pay for it up front, but the second and third activation, you're getting a free 5/5 taunt.
Yeah.
So that's not to be underestimated necessarily. But yeah, it does not go in every deck, for sure. It might not be quite Warlock only, but I'm definitely curious to see what's going to happen with Warlock. So we also have Aya Lotus Kingpin. I believe this is the breaking rules legendary for
because you always go second.
Rogue.
Yeah. So
yeah.
And Aya has not gotten a new card since Mean Streets of Gadgetzan. Like, this is the first reappearance of Aya since that set, which is, I'm sad that she's a rogue card because she has a place in my heart because she was in the first deck that I took to Legend. And she was, if you remember, if you were playing back then, she was the one who would yell, what was it? Golems are a girl's best friend, and she would summon Jade Golems. Aya's great. I'm sad that she's a rogue card, but also, you know, I don't even know what to think of this card. But anyway, go ahead and read it before we start going into it.
Aya Lotus Kingpin is a 6-mana, 6/3 rogue legendary. It says you always go second. Asterisk, if it's an Aya mirror, then it goes back to 50-50. But in general, you always go second. Battle Cry, not start of game. Battle Cry. Pick an upgraded counterfeit to replace your coins this game. Get 2. I read this too fast when I first looked at it, and I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. You get 2 coins, even though you went second and it's upgraded.
I read it the same way. I'm like, oh yeah, you get 2 coins to start with. That doesn't that counteracts having to start second. Nope, you super don't. You get 2 coins, or at earliest turns. Well, it's rogue. I shouldn't say earliest, but probably like turn 6 or so.
The counterfeit coins that you could get, Jade Coin. They're all 0 mana, gain a mana crystal this turn only. The Jade Coin will also summon a Jade Golem. I assume it gets, summon a bigger and bigger.
Yeah, it's a bigger and bigger green man. Now, we don't know how much Jade Golem support is in this set. I think the only other Jade Golem, and I don't even know if it's actually a Jade Golem, is like Jade Display. Is that still in Standard? That was a card that, like, it behaved kind of like Jade Golem. That might have even been Whizbang.
It is not.
Yeah, that might have been Whizbang.
It was Whizbang, so we would have to have some new Jade synergy.
Or you have enough ways to generate more coins that will become significant.
So Jade Coin can start the Jade Golem train, and I imagine we'll get more ways to generate coins. Even the bribe generates a coin for you.
Right.
Grimy Coin gains you a mana crystal and deal 2 damage to a random enemy minion. And Cabal Coin gains you a mana crystal and gives you a random 1-cost Kazakus potion. So this is all the Mean Streets of Gadgetzan groups, right? And it's those 1-mana Kazakus potions are pretty good. even if you didn't play back in Mean Streets of Gadget Zan, if you remember Mixologist, it's those.
Well, they're good when you get to pick what's going into them. When somebody's mixing them for you, I don't know how good they are.
That's a good point. It is random, yeah. I feel like if this, and I wonder if this was like changed in development, or maybe like it's better than we think, or what. If it was you go second, but right away you have an upgraded counterfeit coin and 2 of them, like,
yeah,
I think that
sure
would probably be pretty good. But I've seen a lot of people point out today that at this moment in time, especially now, again, it could be a little different after expansion launch. We are seeing a lot more sort of like swingy type of mechanics. But right now, there is like a 8 to 10% swing based on going second in most decks. And there is even Rogue, which generally likes to have an extra spell and likes to have an extra card. If you're going second, that means your opponent gets to go first. You're not stopping them from going first. So there's definitely a drawback there.
I don't even think you have to go that far into it, right? You have to play a 6-mana. You have to draw a legendary and play a 6-mana 6/3 to get 2 coins to start this. Mm-hmm. That's a tall ask for a short panda.
Or if it was like start of game, pick the upgraded counterfeit, but then you don't get to until you play her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like maybe because if she is at the bottom of your deck and you can't dig her out, like again, this kind of goes back to like my general complaint about commander style legendaries, right? Where if it's accessible to you and you can just play it whenever you want from like outside your hand, then fine, you can build around that. If you need to dig it out of the bottom half of your deck and your deck just doesn't function or doesn't function as well, I don't know how important these upgrades are going to end up being, but I would imagine the J Golem feels like the one that you're going to pick more often than not. Because the other 2, I mean, Grimy Coin, whatever, like 2 damage to a random enemy minion, that after turn 6 does not matter. I don't think, unless you are printing money. If you have managed to steal the mint, right, and you are minting coins, then maybe that matters. But like 2 damage to a random enemy minion post turn 6 feels underwhelming. And
yeah,
and the same thing with like random Kazakus potions. Again, if you get to brew them, they're great. If you have to pick 2 things that it just jammed together, that may or may not have anything to do with what you want to do, I'd have to see it to see how they tend to shake out, but I would imagine it's not going to be nearly as effective.
I mean, it is cheap spells, and we might be having some sort of miracle.
Sure, fine.
Situation with the auction master, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, maybe.
You have a lot of coins. You put the coins out first to be able to have enough mana to prepare the auction master, and then you get like even more coins, and you use that to like draw through your whole deck. Like if we get enough support, maybe. But in terms of coin support right now, Agent of the Old Ones is the obvious one here. That's the 1-mana 2/1 demon that we already play anyway that says Battlecry, choose a card in your hand to transform into a coin.
And there's the dragon that summons the taunt, right? That fills your hand with coins.
Right. So if we end up like really going for like we're going to have a bazillion coins thing, then maybe we're playing Time Admiral Hooktail that summons a chest for your opponent full of coins. Time Skipper from Across the Timeways at the end of each player's turn, give them a coin. So we'll have to see what the rest of the set is. It looks underwhelming right now, for sure, but we'll have to see what the rest of the set is, and also whether anything changes about the difference between going first and second, because right at this exact moment, it's it's always been a disadvantage to go second, but it's especially so right now.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be happy if more rogue cards said that on it, but that's my own damage.
If you want to be able to ever generate a card this game, go second.
Yes.
However, we have a cool one to end on here, which is Mugsy. Mugsy is a shaman legendary, 6 mana, 6/7. Start of game. If your deck has no other minions, gain Mug's hero power. If it has no spells, then get Z's. So you might be asking, what are Mug Z's hero powers? So the Mug one, which comes if you have no other minions, is passive. Your first minion each turn costs 2 less. So you're going to have to be generating some minions.
We have
somehow.
to see the rest of the set, but that doesn't seem like the way we want to go necessarily, unless there's a lot of stuff.
With what we've seen so far, it isn't, but
you have to get a lot of cards that are generating minions for this to be worth. I mean, again, it works for Demon Hunter, but even Demon Hunter doesn't generate that many minions. The minions that it generates are very good, but it doesn't generate that many minions. So
we have like Blaze. This could be why Blazing Invocation went into core. Discover a Battlecry minion. Mountain Map, discover a minion with a type you haven't played. Herald Alakir, get 2/1 elementals with Rush. You're not doing Herald with this, though.
Yeah, because then you'd have to play other minions beside that.
We have some things that summon minions. Yeah, there's going to have to be some other stuff in this set for that to be the way that we're going. However, right now, we can already see ways to play with the opposite one. If your deck has no spells, you get Z's Might, which is also passive. Every 5th minion you play triggers its Battlecry twice.
Oh, this is going to be so many opportunities to misplay. It's like I'm just thinking of every time I've played Battlegrounds with one of the hero powers. It's like every 4th thing that you buy, you get a copy of, or whatever, and I mess that up every time because I just forget to count. I'm sure it will be flashing numbers in front of you constantly when you're doing this, and it will be reminding you that it's about to happen, but you're gonna have to pay real close attention to what minions you're playing in what order in order to get the value out of that, and that's gonna be a challenge.
You're gonna be mousing over that a lot. I assume it'll say on it, hopefully in a way that's mobile readable.
Yeah,
I'm sure they'll figure out how to get that accessible on the screen reading mod, but yeah, you're gonna have to be counting for sure. But there are people in the Discord already having a lot of fun preparing Battlecry heavy. We've got like an elemental shaman here because you could get extra Battlecries like on Slag Claw to get extra of the cinders. So Slag Claw like summons the Scorching Cinders. You can get extra Xaviuses. You can get
extra Heralds.
It doesn't say card or minion, because can you get a minion? Okay, so you cannot get double Deathwing Battlecry. That's probably for the best.
Yeah, but you can still run Deathwing in that because Deathwing is not a spell. Oh, I guess you can't run Muradin because Muradin puts a spell into your deck if you're doing Herald Shaman.
Right, you cannot run Muradin, but you can run Herald stuff, and Alakir works with that.
Just not the spell that puts that does the elementals, but you can run the other Herald stuff.
Vironoth apparently just fit really nicely into. Shout out to, I'm not sure if this is Fizzy or Fizzy.
Oh my god, I can't. Like, this is going to be such a headache. Having to figure out how to manipulate your mana such that you get Vironoth to be the 5th Battlecry. That's going to break your brain. Don't do that to yourself. Like,
I think what you do is you, instead of aiming specific, like even if you have Vironoth, like you have things that are higher value Battlecries that you'd rather get, but you just have most of your minions be Battlecries so that it doesn't matter that much.
I mean, that's a hard puzzle to crack.
Nice to have, not a have to have.
But like, you're going to take whatever minions you can get to that number, and if they happen to be Battlecries, great. But yeah, I don't. Oh god, if you're doing this, everything has to have a Battlecry, because the only thing that's gonna feel worse than playing a minion with a bad Battlecry and missing the good Battlecry is playing a minion that has no Battlecry and wasting that trigger. That's gonna feel awful, and you're never gonna want that to happen.
I assume that the hero power itself will like glow yellow and stuff, but yeah, you can't play without paying attention. This goes into like whenever I play distracted, bad things happen. So I try to not do that. Yeah. But I do think there's some really cool deck building and possibilities with this card. So I'm excited for that half of it. And then possibly we'll see whether the other half gets enough support now or later. Because that could also happen later. But it's very shaman, right? It really matches shaman, and it's a fun deck building challenge. One clarification from that Goku noted in the Discord from Reddit: Hogger, the warrior legendary that duplicates your legendaries, has a low priority trigger. It happens after everything else. So if you do it with like the Dragon Shoal Shattered Essence, it'll duplicate all of the shattered things.
Yeah. Well, also like the Fable, right? Like we saw that it copied all the Fables. I think it has to work that way because otherwise, if it's random, that would feel real bad.
Yeah, and we will be having more cards revealed soon.
I think there's a batch of cards coming out tomorrow.
And then Monday, June 8th. So potentially by the time you're seeing this, there will likely already be new cards. But we've already got a long episode as it is with the cards that have been revealed.
As is tradition when we get a new expansion reveal that we go on way too long. So.
And we didn't even have Edel this time.
Yeah.
We still managed to get to a point where the sun is directly in my face, making stripes on my face.
It looks like you're behind bars, so that's appropriate.
That, you know what? Yeah, it was planned, actually. I prepared for this moment.
I see what you did there.
I'm going to do that way too much over the next, 3 months.
The word prepare already lost all meaning about halfway through the episode, so...
Yeah. It comes up too it's like it's too low-hanging fruit. It's like saying perfect with regard to animals, give your cat the perfect food with our, it's it's already old. But I do think hopefully we can get some sort of, even though I do like sort of aggro curve stone, and I'm sure we'll still have some of that, having some of that swinginess would, if indeed we can have that, would be cool. I love the disguise minions on both sides of the board type of situation. I like having a bunch of, legendaries that do flashy things, but that are only in classes. So, yeah. I'm excited to see where the rest of this leads.
Yeah. So, we have many folks who'd like to thank. Check out our thanks section on the website at coincede.com, where you can also find our contact info, our show notes, and our Patreon information. You can monetarily support our show at patreon.com/coinconcede. Join us every week live by following us on Twitch at twitch.tv/coinconcede Join our community. Oh boy, it's been a long episode. Join our community chats in our Discord. Write into our email at coinconcede@gmail.com. Follow us on Blue Sky at coinconcede. Subscribe to us on YouTube at youtube.com/@coinconcede. And if you like some CC swag, head over to our shop at coin-concede-shop/dat. Head on over to our shop.
Link in the show notes.
Yeah, link in the show notes. I am... and we'll go into coin concedes, and I'm going to coin concede to Proby1 and Contig and Schwal, who the reason that I am saying all these horrible URLs instead of the nice short ones that we've had is that they let us know that unfortunately the website that we have been using had been compromised last week, and let us know quickly enough that we were able to take that down and protect anybody who was going into it. So if you have gone into our website and it looks a lot different, that's the reason. It very likely will look different again by the time that you hear this, hopefully, because we're looking at a replacement that's going to be a little bit easier to manage and more secure than what we were using before. We collectively inherited that from, I think, whoever gave it to Hat. I don't know if Hat's the one who set that up or he just inherited that from whoever. We were in need of a new website anyway, and this kind of just pushed us towards it. And that's not the way that we want to do that. So thanks everybody for bearing with us and being supportive while we clean that up and move over to a different a different web host and a different hosting platform that we're pretty excited about. I think it's going to have some new features that you're going to like. We're kind of taking lemons and making lemonade. But yeah, that was like not a fun time after recording fairly late with May last week, and then getting a message that, oh yeah, by the way, your site's in weird language that we can't read, and need to go deal with that. And also Concede to McGase's husband Dan, who got on a call late. Well, I guess not as late for you, but still late, and helped us figure out at least how to get everything shut down in the meantime while we could take the time to figure out what to do next. So
yeah, well, and shout out to Wicked, who it was quite late for you when we saw this happening, and I'm like sitting there going, oh no, am I the only one up?
Yeah.
Like, at Wicked Good, are you still up? And we jumped on a call and were able to, we did lock the site down, but as we dug into it more, we were like, oh, the compromise tendrils, it was going to be way more trouble to try to get all of the compromise out than it would be to just make a new website. And we should be able to have like better integration between the videos and the audio versions of the podcast on the new site and stuff like that. So that should hopefully be up very soon. And that will also have a better collection of all of our links to everywhere at the top. If you are looking there and it looks like a very non-featured website, then you're looking before we've put the new one up. It's kind of a placeholder of what we've got up there as we're recording.
Yeah. And I will say that, I mean, I've had my share of late night, hey, something's broken and you need to go fix it. I generally much appreciate when it's before I've gone to sleep than about an hour after I have. So I had not yet gone to bed, so I was much happier and much more lucid than I would have been if it was I had just gone to sleep and then got a call an hour later. Not that you would have called me, but yeah.
No,
I've had that happen
been poking around,
and that is much worse than finding out that something is broken at like 11 o'clock at night before I've started going to bed. So
yes, no, and that was very appreciated. And yeah, my husband used to do web stuff, so including with the same sort of type of architecture that our site was, so he knew his way around a little bit, which was helpful.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, I can have fun making a new website.
You've got a week off from work now. Now you have a project, so
yeah. Do a lot of stuff with that, and hopefully it'll be, there are like things that are specifically made for like podcasts websites that are probably worth doing. So that's the behind the scenes. So yeah, Concede to you for helping so much with that, Wicked. And let's see, I already Conceded to the graduates last week, but definitely proud of them. Concede to, I actually this year only have one student continuing their class into the summer, which is unusual, I will say, for the school where I'm at. Because especially for me, because they tend to give me a lot of the students who are needing extra time, but only one, and Concede to the teacher who's going to be taking over that class. It's a very fun kid, somewhat challenging class. Hopefully it'll be good for him to have a change of pace with it's for a science class for his science teachers and more labs, and that teacher is really good about having lots of like hands-on stuff. So, and I appreciate someone taking over the class that I was in, because it's always a little tough when you're taking over someone else's class. So I tried to set him up with as much information as possible. And I had tried to get the kid to be totally done with his previous lab write-up, but not quite. We didn't quite get there. And then he didn't finish it during study hall on his own, which was not surprising. Yeah. But so I just sent it to the new teacher being like, and by the way, this is the lab that we did. And he's got like half a paragraph to write, and then he'll be good. So he can manage that.
All right. Well, that's going to do it.
Concede to Edel. I hope she feels better. Yes.
Get better. Drink lots of tea. Save your voice. And go watch Go watch championships this weekend. So that is going to do it for us for this week. So until next time, keep calm and prepare to prepare. And if you see us on ladder, Concede.
Concede.
I yield for now. I concede. Well fought. I concede.
You win this one.
The victory is yours.
You have bested me.
I give up.
You win this one, friend.